Brad looks like we're good to go.
Okay. All right, I'd like to call to order the Environmental Advisory Committee meeting, August 12th, 2026 at 2 p.m. Could we do a roll call, please?
Brad Freese,
Here.
Thomas Bradford,
Here.
Jill Strauss,
Here.
Bill Wenta,
Here.
Barbara Gomez,
Here.
Brooke Bonma.
Before we do the approval of agenda, I want to give our new EAC member, Jim Obermeyer, is that right? An opportunity to introduce himself and say whatever you'd like to say about yourself.
Not a whole lot to say. Yesterday was the council meeting, and I volunteered to be on the board. I'm been a resident here in Tequesta for 4 years now, and just felt like it was time to start participating a little bit more in the community. This is this time for this board kind of doesn't take away from any family time. So I liked the timing of it and everything. My background is engineering and facilities of buildings, large campuses. Before I was here, I was in Denver, Colorado for 20 years. So I don't have a ton of background with waterways and shorelines and stuff like that, but definitely interested in learning. And this would be a way to do it as well. So I'm just happy to be, part of it and learn, and anything I can provide as a subject matter expert as well from my field. So.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome, yes.
Welcome to the committee.
There's no swearing in or
No.
Doesn't he have to recite something?
or hazing.
Secret
we
password?
can do, or
Yeah, we'll save that for the next meeting. We don't want to scare them off.
I did block my calendar. I won't be able to be at the next meeting.
Okay.
I've got so all the hazing should be next meeting.
Okay.
The rest of the year, I'll be here and I block my calendar for, so next meeting I won't be here, but from then on out I will.
Nice.
well, again, welcome.
We'll think of something good.
Thank you very much for volunteering. All right, any additions, deletions, modifications to the agenda as written? If not, someone could make a motion so we could approve the agenda as written.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Sorry. I'm a little slow today.
You're usually right on with the seconds, come on.
I'm totally slow today.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Communication from citizens? No citizens here, so we'll skip down to presentations.
Got a lady in the
Yeah.
audience. I don't know.
She's giving the presentation.
Oh, she's a
Yes.
presenter, okay.
Sorry.
So Christy Nelson, who heads up the Eco Scouts, would like to update us on current activities or maybe even future activities.
Yes, so we are, is this my clicker? Yes. Okay. So we're an environmental education nonprofit that operates out of Tequesta and Jupiter. We serve kids from unincorporated Martin County, Palm Beach County, pretty much Tequesta to Delray Beach is where our members are from. And what we do all sorts of environmental education. We've been doing this since 2021, and we have met with over 200 scientists locally, willing to engage our students in all sorts of cool scientists. We've met with even the chimpanzee scientists up at Lion Safari to shark and dolphin scientists, and obviously we work a lot with Palm Beach County because they are the experts in our local area. But that's just kind of how we started, was kids that wanted to learn about the environment. Our most recent projects have turned into local restoration projects. We went ahead, we built a mangrove nursery at the Jupiter Lighthouse. We redid all the tables at the lighthouse for their native plant nursery. We've donated, it's getting close to 1,000 native plants at the lighthouse. In addition to the mangrove nursery that we grew 3,000 mangroves. They were in my front yard, but those have since been moved to the lighthouse. And they're actually going to be planted along the shoreline this week. We're going over to Sarasota tomorrow. We're partnering with Pine Island Redfish. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they do sustainable aquaculture. So they grow redfish, sell them to restaurants, and then they use the fish waste from their aquaculture labs to grow mangroves and sea purslane and other edible plants. And they have been willing to donate a bunch of trays of sea purslane that we'll be able to use along the Tequesta and Jupiter shorelines near the lighthouse. So we're doing that tomorrow, which we're really excited about. We've been hand watering the 5,000 native plants that have been planted along the shoreline. Some of them are being drip watered, but we're going over and spending hours every day watering the plants. So if you see us while you're sailing by, say hello, but it's been a lot of work. The kids are, mostly my son, is doing it, but it's been a really good project. The other thing that we did this summer was we completed our first round of native clam restoration. So we have a neighbor across the street from us who's 98 years old, and she said there used to be plentiful clam beds, plentiful oyster beds, and now you don't see them at low tide like you used to. A lot of the mangrove nurseries, a lot of the mangrove islands she used to see are gone. So my son and I are trying to get it back to her baseline of what she remembers Jupiter and Tequesta being like. So what we did was we went out and we found some live native clams in our local waters, which was really difficult to find because when was the last time you saw a live clam? I don't know. But we found them. We partnered with the Whitney Lab of Marine and Bioscience up in St. Augustine. They were able to spawn. We had 30 brood stock of local clams. They were able to spawn them and turn that into 23,000 native clams, which we then brought down. And then using the permits with Dr. Osborne, we were able to release those clams back into our native waters. So we've tried it a couple of different ways. We have 8 bagged locations that we're keeping the clams in mesh bags along our waterways, and they're all tagged. So that way we can monitor like biofouling, like what's trying to eat the clams. It protects them from predation, but then we can find out what our clams are facing in our native waters as far as like pollution and all the things that, why are they disappearing? And then the kids were able to release some, not in the mesh bags, but they were able to just release some live and free. And a lot of those got eaten right away, but we still have the ones in the bags, and we're going to see how they do over the next spawning season. So that was a really fun project. We're also partnering with you guys, the West Palm Beach Fishing Club, to do our vertical oyster gardens. We have, I think, 120 that have been hung up by our Eco Scouts right now. So when those are mature, that's like over 1 million gallons of water a day that will be filtered locally. We are still looking to have local dock owners participate in that. We're always reaching out. So if you ever talk to local dock owners that are willing to let us host the gardens on their docks, we're more than willing to come out and hang them for them. The other thing that we're doing is my son engineered a benthic camera that can be deployed in water for days at a time. And using advanced AI modeling, what it will do is it will take all that video, and we're going to be able to pull out just the pieces of film that have animals in them. So we're going to start creating the very first benthic database of what animals, what sea life, what things are in our waterways here locally so that we can get greater protection, to understand what's coming, what's going. And so this has been in partnership with the University of Miami. So they've been kind of letting us use their maker lab to get a lot of this done, and it's ready to go. We're going to be deploying it at the lighthouse once the construction's done. We're going to be doing it in the Jupiter Narrows once their construction is done. And I would like to use it in other locations further up the river as well, where it's murkier, harder to see, less studied. So that's something that's ready to go. We're just waiting for construction to be complete on the 2 projects where we know we're going to put the camera. But we're open to using that anywhere you need us to. So if you have waterways you'd like to monitor, like Dover Ditch, for example, you just did a restoration there. What's living there? I don't know. We could put the camera in there and find out, you know? Pine Island redfish, like I said, we're going to be creating a a sea purslane nursery at the Jupiter Lighthouse. So in addition to the mangrove nursery, we will now be growing sea purslane, and we can use that in restoration projects across Tequesta. So happy to share our sea purslane if there's restoration that's needed. The other thing we're doing is my son has partnered with another young person that's on the other side, closer to Sarasota, and she's making reef balls. She's using a substrate that is an aggregate that is a lot lighter weight than what the traditional companies that you can buy the reef balls from are using. So they're a lot more easy to transport, easier to install because they're not as heavy as the ones that are simply made out of concrete. And she's donating these. These are going to go along the snorkel trail by Cato's Bridge. We're going to use the existing lighthouse's permits because they're already installing reef balls, and those are going to be going in September. So we're really excited to see. You can see down there the difference between just 1 year of being in the water. You can see how much oyster and marine life that will be habitat to. So we're excited about that. My son was invited to speak at the Explorers Club in New York. Dr. Sylvia Earle invited him there, so we were talking about all the restoration work that the Eco Scouts are doing there. And there my son met up with Philippe Cousteau, the grandson of Jacques Cousteau, and he does a lot of marine conservation work with the youth. So we're working with him to work on doing reef tiles, which I think this is where we could use the village's help in. So there's several versions that they're going through right now, trying to decide what's the most effective way to do this. But what Philippe wants to do is, instead of just like what they're doing in other places, is they just put these tiles up on seawalls and it collects marine life. It collects oyster spat. Coral grows on it, things like that. Philippe, what he does, because he's been doing coral restoration around the world for decades, is when he puts his coral reefs down in the bottom of the ocean, he's already preceding them with coral. So he wants to precede our seawall living reefs with oyster spat, coral. We're not sure what we're doing. He has taken Isaac's designs, that's my son, and he's taken them to his engineers, and they're trying to decide what would be the best for our local waterways, because they haven't worked in Florida a lot. They're all over the globe, but this would be one of their first projects doing seawalls in Florida. So they're going to get back to us this month on what they think they can seed it with. They know we can do oysters, but I would like to seed it with other growing things like sea sponges and corals. We're not sure what corals grow in the Jupiter Inlet exactly, so the Lighthouse has given the Eco Scouts autonomous monitoring structures. So autonomous reef monitoring structures are called ARMS, and the Smithsonian, what they do is you place these arms in the water and then you see what grows on them. Then you bring them up after they've been underwater for 6 months to a year. You scrape everything off, blend it in a blender, send it to the lab, and then you're making a baseline of this is what coral grows, this is what oysters grow, this is what clams, all the things that are growing in your local waterways. And it's a very standardized science way of making sure that we know what's growing in our waterways versus everyone else. And so we already have 6 of these that we're ready to deploy, again, once the construction project is done, and then we'll be able to set a baseline of what is growing here, and then we can put those on there. So I was hoping if there are blank seawalls that are anywhere here in Tequesta, that we could obviously use those seawalls and put them up on the wall. The thing that, in talking to local dock owners, the question is, how do you install them? Right now, all the companies that are doing this, they are bolting them into the walls, which requires permits, and I don't think as a dock owner I want anyone drilling into my seawall. So we are looking at doing something that would go in front of the dock. So you drill a piling or just stakes that go in front of the dock, so you're not having to actually touch the dock, but they're still sitting in front of the dock, creating a living shoreline. So again, this is all in the works, but when we're complete with the design, I'd love to talk to you, Jay, and figure out where in Tequesta we can test these out, because they're doing them in Miami. I think they make a lot of sense to bring up our way. Last thing we're doing, this is our newest project, is we're going to take the water that comes from the Loxahatchee. I'm sure you've all seen it when the water, the brown tannin-filled water that's coming from the canals meets the beautiful water of the inlet, and you can physically see the change. And that's every day with every tide. every tide cycle. So my son and I are working on these. It's like cells. They're these membranes that you can buy that take the change in salinity of water and convert it into electricity. So every day when the tide's coming down the Loxahatchee and it meets the inlet and that change is happening, if we put this right in the water there, it can generate electricity for us, which I think is a super cool idea. The researchers at Stanford are the ones that pioneered this idea. We reached out to them. Everybody loves helping kids, so a 13-year-old calls them and says, hey, can we make this? They're more than willing to help. So we are hoping to have this project done by February is our timeline. So that's what we've been working on.
That's a lot.
Gosh, wow.
So
Impressive. Amazing.
yeah, we love Tequesta. We love how open you guys have been with your environmental committee and willing to partner with us. So if we ever need help, or if you ever need, the Eco Scouts, we meet every Thursday doing environmental projects. So if there's ever something you need extra hands for, we have 20 to 30 teenagers that always reserve Thursday mornings for us to do projects. So let us know if we can help you. We'd be more than happy to.
It was a lot.
That was amazing.
Are you open for questions?
Sure.
Does anyone have questions?
Yeah, I do. I do remember you now from when we had there might have been a concert and we did the
The
oyster
oysters, yeah.
thing, and you had your son and I think a daughter, so I remember you now. Sorry. Do clams filter water similar to how oysters do?
They do, and the cool thing about clams is because they're on the bottom of the seabed, they bring more photosynthesis down, which will help our seagrass nurseries. So because they're on the bottom, oysters, because they hang on to mangrove roots, they can be higher up in the water column, whereas these are on the bottom. So they're actually pretty important for seagrass, which might be one of the reasons we're losing so much of our seagrass. So that's another thing that I didn't put on here, but we're also working at bringing a seagrass nursery to the lighthouse, which they've said they have space for. They'd be happy to have us do that. So we're going to work with the Florida Oceanographic Society, who has a really successful seagrass program, about bringing that down here to the further south part of the Indian River Lagoon.
That's great.
Thank you.
I do have first question is off the clams. Are they not as susceptible to the particulate and pollution that's on the bottom, like in the river? Like as the oysters are? Because the oysters don't proliferate at the bottom.
Yeah, so our clams are a little bit, they use their, what's the muscle called? The abductor muscle to filter. So we're not really sure how the pollution in the river is going to affect them. That's why we did several different locations.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'll know more in 6 months.
Okay. And on the oysters, I still haven't got mine on my dock. How do I get that done?
Oh,
I was on the list, but the first installation, they ran out and they were somebody's gonna contact, so I'm just
I'll
waiting.
follow up with my son and find out.
Okay. Direct contact.
I've got her address, so I'll send it to you and
Okay.
Thank you.
I just want to say I'm super impressed.
Yeah.
And I love everything that you brought up and excited to watch and see how it grows and happens.
And where we can support it.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
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 It's amazing.
Barbara, you have anything? Any questions?
No, just want to say thank you for presenting this to us today. It's quite interesting. Y'all are very busy with what you're doing, and anything that we can do to assist, be happy to try to do that.
Yeah, you guys have been
Thank
great
you.
with the oyster gardens. It was awesome to have you guys get the word out for us. So we really appreciate you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Can you go back to that benthic camera slide?
Yeah,
So cool.
maybe.
Just wanted to see.
Oh, if you're looking at so it's actually really affordable. It costs less than a GoPro to make.
Wow.
So we can easily reproduce this. We've been very fortunate to have a lot of National Geographic photographers that have been willing, not photographers, but National Geographic explorers that have been willing to talk and teach with the Eco Scouts over the years. There's one particular one who is doing something similar to this, and so we talked to him like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So he's going to be helping us to even refine our design further to make it more easily reproduced, because he's doing the same thing in kind of freshwater environments. But yeah, it costs like $500 to make these cameras, so if they get stolen, it's not a big deal. The coral scientist at the University of Miami that's using them places them like 200 meters deep, and he says they're getting stolen, but I think they're getting washed away. We don't really know. So I think in our more shallow waters, we're just going to put a tag on them that says, this is a 13-year-old kid's science project. Don't be a jerk that steals it. But again, it only being $500, it will be easy to replace and have multiple cameras. So.
And this is your son that developed this?
That's amazing.
And how old is he?
He's 13.
Like 12 or 13 or something like
He's
that.
13.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What sea life or marine life would be monitored? Just everything?
We're going for everything. The thing that's the number one on his list is a guitar fish, because he thinks that they're in our river, which is definitely possible. The sawtooth ones. That's what he's hoping to find. And the thing is with this database is we're going to make it public. So all of the scientists that monitor manatees and manatee scars and dolphins, and they want you to send them their photos of dolphin fins, and we'll be able to send them actual photos of the dolphins instead of just the fins. So there's a lot of scientists that are local that are already, using all this information. So we might as well share it because we're going to have it. So.
Incredible. The reef tile, so is there a place on the Tequesta Bridge, since there's a restoration going on right now, and you probably wouldn't have to pull an extra permit to stick a few reef tiles?
It's possible. I'll definitely ask around
Yeah.
and look for some spots. That's a good idea.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Very much.
Appreciate it.
Brad, can I
Oh,
get
yes, I'm
sorry. On the benthic cameras, you said they'd be movable, so you can shift them around. Are they available now? Like if we did want to do a Dover ditch thing? Okay, I'll touch base with you about that. And then lastly, on the I think it was the blue box, the energy thing. Have you guys talked to FPL at all about that?
No, that's a great idea.
So, I think we have some contacts at FPL, so I wonder if they'd be supportive of it.
I have contacts at NextEra.
Yeah. So I think maybe there's some synergy there.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a great idea.
Out on their plate.
That's
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from last month's meeting, July 8th. This can be approved with a motion and a second.
Yeah, I read the minutes of July 8, and I thought they were perfect, so I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the minutes of July 8, 2026.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. So our regular agenda, looks like Meg is going to give us an update on that Riviera Beach permit that we discussed in our last meeting.
Yes, good afternoon. It is a very brief update. I just wanted to let you know that I did reach out to Linda Kay with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. She's the project manager for the permit that you guys looked at previously. Basically, the feedback from them was that the application is currently under review. Public notice for the proposal went out, and the project is in the early stages of review, currently in consultation with other federal resource agencies. So she didn't have any updates, really. And then I spoke with Riviera Beach, and they just wanted to let us know that the applicant had previously applied for variances at this property, was denied twice, and there was no new updates, like from Riviera at this time, no new permit applications. They would let us know if anything changed.
Oh.
That's the update.
So it's being reviewed and probably will sit there for months and months and months.
And it's probably being processed. They probably know it won't be approved, but they need it to get denied so they can get into litigation about it, is my guess.
Interesting. Okay.
Hi, Christy. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So the only other item on here is new business. It looks like Jay was able to get us into the meeting in October, right? October 1st, is it?
I think it's actually late. I think it was October 29th.
Oh, okay.
Just confirm.
So we will be having a joint meeting with them, with the Jupiter Environmental Task Force, as we had discussed in our previous meetings, the interest in doing that. So I tried to get in touch with someone there, and their website is kind of lackluster in that I couldn't find any email addresses. So anyway, Jay had contacts there, so we were able to schedule a joint meeting. What I wanted to do is, and we have a couple months, or this month and our next meeting next month, to come up with some things that we want to discuss with them or present to them. That could be anything from a review of what we've been doing over the past 6 months, and/or what are some of the things they're doing, and/or what are the things that we have in common that we could work together on. So this is kind of an open discussion. I'll kick it off with, Brooke had sent an email, and Brooke was under the weather today, which is why she's not here. These are some bullet points that she put together. Does Jupiter have vertical oyster gardens? If not, we can walk them through what we've done to date so they can do something similar. I'm curious to understand what issues their task force has been working on and faced over the past year. Their website says they meet quarterly. In light of the property tax bill and potential changes to EAC's meeting cadence, I'm curious their thoughts on the quarterly meetings. I'm also interested in how we can work together for marine restoration or multi-town public education campaigns or co-sponsored events. All good stuff. Does anyone have any ideas? This is kind of like brainstorm, basically, the discussion brainstorm.
Kind of need that input of what the review of what they have done and what they're involved with to see where we have some commonality.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if there's a way to do that beforehand, before the actual meeting, but
I looked on their website and it listed some items that they didn't seem to involve projects like we're involved with. They see the items that were on their website were beach cleanups and activities that they're involved with, but I didn't see programs like initiatives like we're taking. But that's just what's on their website, and that
Right.
might not be all-inclusive, obviously. So I would, if there was a way to kind of get some more information so that we can see if we do have some similar things, and then, of course, try and identify some of our projects that we're involved with. Do they go hand in hand with extending it into the Jupiter waterways with shoreline and all that?
All
I
right.
agree with maybe the areas that Jupiter and Tequesta county lines cross over along our waterways, how we can work together on projects for those areas. I think they blend and meld a lot all along right
All
here.
along the
Yeah,
intercoastal.
Riverside
river.
Drive and Intercoastal, yeah.
And then eventually, I guess if that works out to be a good program between the two, if we can even get up the river into, I believe that's unincorporated Palm Beach County,
That's a good one.
because that whole side of the river is
Just
integral
sits.
part as well, just a different
It's unincorporated.
Legislative area, yeah.
Some of it is in Martin County as well, as we go up the river.
Yeah.
I was wondering if, I'm not sure how to word this so it makes sense, but if we are in a situation with our village where we're not in compliance with a state regulation on something, whatever it may be, fertilizers, a runoff into Loxahatchee, whatever that may be that they may be looking at us to correct, if they have a similar situation that they're dealing with and how they're dealing with it. I would think that perhaps they do have some similar concerns. And I'd like to know if we cross over with them, how they're dealing with these things.
So basically, local compliance with state laws?
Correct.
Okay.
And are they facing, if, we may be in total compliance, I don't know, I'm new to this committee.
Yeah.
But if not, do we have similar violations, I hate to use that word, as they have in Jupiter? And how are they processing that and making the remedies? Maybe we can learn from each other. Is there any way that we would be able, this committee would be able to know if we're in compliance right now with all of those things? Any red flags that have been?
I don't think the village is specifically in violation of anything. I'd have to check with Allison, our water and utilities director, to see if there are any like nitrogen issues in the Loxahatchee. But I'm not aware of any at the moment.
I know at one point the golf course, the Tequesta Country Club golf course, there was an issue. Probably that's been solved. I'm going back a couple of years, but that's the kind of things that, I wonder if we need to be aware of, if there are problems, and there may not be, hopefully.
The Loxahatchee River Coordinating Council, that was created by, it was requested to be created by FDEP because of ongoing nitrogen and phosphorus overloading in the river, and so all of the participants, including Jupiter, Tequesta, Loxahatchee River District, others, the goal, going back years ago, when it first was created, it was kind of like, I can't remember the old saying, but it was either do this and make progress on these problems, or we will cite you and, take you to court and all that other stuff to make you comply and force expensive things on the municipalities and the other districts so that they were in compliance, and the courts would therefore dictate you must do this, that, and the other by day certain, regardless of what it cost. So there is that. Apparently there's been progress because they haven't done anything to sue anybody that are contributing to the high levels of nitrogen and phosphorus. So I guess what I'm saying is, in regard to the Loxahatchee River Coordinating Council, does Jupiter and their environmental board, do they feel like the group is making adequate progress? I remember years ago Jupiter had a program where you might have been working there, where they were installing in drainage inlet culverts, or whatever you want to call it. They were putting in filter bags and leaf catchers and things like that.
Baffle boxes.
Pardon?
Baffle boxes, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, yes. And but I haven't heard anything since, and it's been, like 5 to 10 years ago, I guess. But so that's one thing, and then the other is, if I keep hearing bits and pieces that on the Dover ditch, there may be a phase 2 and a phase 3. And so if that's true, because, I mean, you remember now, we're on the, what we saw last month was just phase 1. If you go, I don't know, to the east, then we would want, I would assume that Tequesta would love for Jupiter to participate at least financially the way they did in phase 1. And so that would be something that I would be interested in knowing, and hopefully that environmental committee could let it be known if in fact we're gonna have a phase 2 and 3 or whatever. The last thing I can think of is, you remember, we had the shoreline, the natural shoreline thing that
Living shoreline.
yeah, the living shoreline. So we sort of modeled what we did after Jupiter, right? So the question I would have for them in regard to that issue is, do they have any successful projects that have been constructed? And if so, what are some of the things that they learned from that we could know and maybe use that data to help waterfront property owners in Tequesta consider that as an alternative when the day comes that they need to do something about their seawall? Those are the only things I can think of.
Yeah, include seawall, because some seawalls are never coming down. So are they coming up, do they have any plans for just seawalls, like when she gave us the information about the seawall tiles? Yeah, something like, see what they're involved with. 'Cause some seawalls are never gonna be able to come down because your property won't allow it
Right.
due to the construction that's on it.
One thought I had was to see if they'd be open to doing like a yearly or biannual meeting together to make it a recurring thing, but also perhaps as a way to invite people like Joe Chasen from the Jupiter Inlet District, or Peter DeWitt from J. Lona, to give kind of an annual or biannual update, so they're not having to go to both groups.
Great communication piece.
And so that we could kind of just jointly do that, and then maybe if we did it as an annual meeting or a biannual meeting, we could kind of line up a good group of speakers, like also Keith Rawson at Mang, and people that, we know that people want to see, and then invite the public and make it kind of a public education forum too. So
I like that.
it's a thought.
Long term, I have a hunch, and I may totally be wrong, but I have a feeling that the North Palm Environmental Committee is much more active than the Jupiter one. And if that's the case, then maybe that should be something we try to meet with them at some point in time and see,
Didn't know they had.
comparative analysis, see what they're doing, what works, what doesn't work.
Best practice sharing.
I did send a mass email out to their whole committee, but I haven't heard back from anybody yet. But I think they possibly needed to get together and meet to determine if they want to even have a meeting with us before getting back to me. So if I don't hear anything for a little while, I'll reach out to Dodie, who's my counterpart over there, and maybe see if she could help coordinate that too. Because maybe if we're going to do that educational piece, maybe we make it all of North County and we really get a great speaker series. North Palm does do their own speaker series at the North Palm Country Club from time to time, with environmental based. I don't think it's hugely attended, but they do get some good speakers there from time to time.
Does Juno Beach have a environmental
I don't think they do. Didn't you say they have some sort of like Juno Beach, like they have like a beach committee or?
They call it the ecology group, and it's citizens, and it's not.
It's not on the.
It's active. It's active, and their main focus is on beach issues and Pelican Lake.
The lake.
But they're real. They're just not
Of
part of the
village.
municipality.
Yeah.
But I think one of their council members, what's her name? Judy Davis or something like that. I forgot her name. She's very big into it, and she regularly reports at Juno Beach Town Council meetings about things that their ecology group does. So she would be a good contact to see if they want to have their ecology group people attend some sort of educational thing that whatever we do in the future.
And Jupiter Inlet Colony?
Oh, right.
I
But I
don't
don't
know
know that
if
they
they
have
have
a-
anything. I know that Mr. Chip Block, the current mayor, is very into all of this environmental stuff. I think
At
he
least
spoke.
invite him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he spoke to us one time about something that they did.
I think if we were to do a joint educational thing, we could, so Jeremy and I know Heidi, their city manager, well, and we talk to her all the time, so we could just invite their entire, through their city council, through the city manager, just invite everyone there to come.
Last comment, Jupiter, do they meet in their community center, their EAC?
I believe they meet in council chambers.
Okay.
And so that's where the meeting, it's October 26th. And that I believe is supposed to be in their council chambers, but I will confirm that with them.
So this team's call on the 1st of October is to discuss the agenda, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll summarize or write out everything that we spoke about, and at the next meeting, we can go through it. If I missed anything, add it. If I didn't, we don't think it's worthwhile, we can strike it, and that way I have something meaningful to say that the committee has approved to discuss with the Jupiter Environmental Task Force on October 1st, when they put together their agenda. Good.
Sounds great.
What else? There was one other. I think everybody received an email from Sue from the Jupiter Narrows Conservation Alliance.
I saw it, but I didn't read it, so you want to tell me?
Yeah, I'm just going to read it. On behalf of Jupiter Narrows, Ocean Conservancy, and the Andrew Red Harris Foundation, we're excited to invite you to join us as we celebrate an important milestone for the Jupiter Narrows. After years of planning and collaboration, we're officially breaking ground on a major effort to restore the mangrove islands in the Jupiter Narrows. This project represents an important step toward reversing decades of erosion, rebuilding critical coastal habitat, and preserving this treasured waterway for future generations. We would be honored to have you with us as we celebrate the beginning of this work. The date is on Wednesday, August 19th at 11 a.m. The location is behind Island House Southwest at 325 South Beach Road in Tequesta. She says, please go to 375 South Beach Road and use walkway on south side of property to get to waterfront, then turn left. Parking is very limited. Please carpool. There are some guest parking spots available. Please let us know if you'll be able to attend. RSVP to info@jupiternarrowsconservation.org. Thank you for your partnership and support in helping make this project a reality. We hope to celebrate with you. Best, Supinella.
What time was it at, Brad?
It is at 11 a.m. on August 19th. Unfortunately, I will not be available on that day, but I was hoping someone from the committee might be able to go.
I might be. I have to check.
If you do go, please remember to RSVP.
Pardon?
If you plan to go, please RSVP to
Let
the
her
Jupiter
know.
Narrows.
Yeah, okay.
And I think everybody on committee here should have gotten this. It was an email to all EAC members.
I believe I forwarded to everyone as
I
well.
did, okay.
To your personal email addresses.
All right. Okay.
That lady, Sue Pinella,
She's
she's amazing.
She's
I
a
mean,
bulldog.
She never gave up.
Yeah.
It was just like another step on a ladder if she had anybody to cause her delays.
It's impressive.
Amazing.
That's impressive.
Are there any other various comments from committee members?
No, I have nothing.
Anything?
Just a real quick staff update. When we were doing the Dover Ditch tour and when I did my prep for that Dover Ditch tour, I noticed that some of the mangroves really weren't growing in as well as we probably would have hoped. So Allison and I are going to have Keith Rawson from Maine go out with us next week to see what his thoughts are on if we need to put some more mangroves in. I think it's actually still under warranty. So we're going to possibly see if Keith or our contractor will put more mangroves in there. So that's possibly a good outcome from our tour. I'll give an update at the next meeting about what we figure out.
Awesome.
But otherwise, I mean, Dover Ditch I thought looked great. Just thought the mangroves were a little thin.
Are they able to survive in where they are?
That's what I wanted to have Keith look at. We're gonna go at low tide, peak low tide, just so he can make sure that they were installed in the right place, and that they're, you know, in a good environment to thrive. And then we also kind of noticed that there was maybe an opportunity to put even more in, because there's an existing strand of mangroves that are kind of out in the river, and then they planted them here, and then there's still a whole nother bank. So I'm gonna ask Keith, like, why not just make them the whole way? And of course, we've got Keith who can do mangroves, the Eco Scouts can do mangroves, so
Yeah.
we might be able to put even more in.
Is it possible for me to tag along?
Absolutely.
If available.
Yeah.
Just let me know when.
Yeah, 9 o'clock on Monday, I'll send you an invite.
This coming Monday?
Yeah,
Monday, okay.
that'd be cool.
The Dover Ditch Phase 2 and perhaps Phase 3, is that something online? Do you know?
No, we don't have design for it. It's just something that's been talked about, that there's an opportunity to extend it on the other side of Riverside in the future.
And just for my information, that other side of Riverside, that's still Tequesta on one side and Jupiter on the other. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Any other future agenda items?
No.
I ask it every time. Anything else? All right, well, that is all on the agenda, so if you would like to end the meeting, I think we need a motion, don't we? Or do I just call it? I forget.
Motion to end.
Motion.
Motion to adjourn. That was a nicer way to put it.
Motion
get
to adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.
Quickie.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the Jupiter Alliance.
That'd be fun. Nice to meet you.